Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. In this class we are going to continue with chapter 11 of class 11 of Education Nagaland Board, which is concept of evaluation. Now so far we've discussed about what is evaluation, how is evaluation different from measurement and examination, as well as the different forms of conducting an exam. Now in this lecture, we are going to throw some light upon the different approaches of the examination. Now there are two ways in which the examinations are conducted, the two different approaches with which the examinations are conducted. Formative approach as well as the summative approach. Okay. Now, formative approach, as you can see, refers to that method where obviously we are going to judge the student time to time. Now, we by now understand that evaluation is important, right? If a child is being sent to school, the child will have to be evaluated, and on the basis of how well the child has performed, the child is going to be given grades. So evaluation is important, and it is important for the teacher also to know how well the child has been learning. So it is because of evaluation only that, teachers can get to know about the progress of the child. Therefore, evaluation is that tool which is required so that the teachers can evaluate and assess the students from time to time. The teachers can get to know about the different abilities of the student and can learn about the different methodologies that she needs to adopt so as to make the teaching learning process better. Now, evaluation is not only existent in the schools or in the educational institutes, but even in the corporate sector. When you are going to an office, you are going to your workplace, the employer is going to evaluate your performance. He or she is going to see how well or how fruitful you are for the organization. He is going to organize a lot of training programs, development programs, so that he or she can know how well the students are receiving, these employees are receiving and putting their best foot forward when it comes to being a good employer. So this is done by collecting a feedback. If the employer wants to know how well the employee is faring at the job, he needs to collect a feedback. He needs to know what the employees have learned, right? So there are two ways in which one can evaluate how well you have learned. One is formative and one is summative. Now, as I told you, formative assessment is that with the help of which you can get to know, you can set the aim as well as the goal of your instructional method. If I am a teacher, I go to this class today with the aim that by the end of this class, my students should be thorough with the concept of formative assessment. This is my aim. Okay? The goal, the method of instruction that I adopt to achieve this goal and the different practices that I am going to adopt so as to make my teaching effective and beneficial for the students is what is going to give me results, right? So what and how I teach is going to decide how well you have understood, and the better you understand, the better you are going to perform in your exam, right? So basically, through the formative assessment, the teacher is going to instruct the children about the different topics that she has taken up in the class. and on the basis of it, the children are going to be teacher. Since I am teaching, since I am evaluating the students on what I have taught, I am in a position to observe my children and also to get a time to time feedback from them. This is something which is again done periodically, regularly. Okay? So since I am doing it on a regular basis, I can get the required feedback from my children. I know that over this month how well my kids have understood, I'd be able to know that by the end of their formative assessment. Then, if my children perform well, wonderful. If not, again, the teacher has to put on some new strategies and has to adopt some new methodologies so that the next formative assessment can give a good result. So this technique is going to groom a teacher to find better methods of teaching, as well as the students are also going to learn about what are the areas they are strong in, what are the areas they are weak in, so that they can bring an improvement. As I said, the teacher can certainly get to know about the gray areas of the students. She can know what students need her guidance, what students are slow learners, and what different techniques can be adopted by her to ensure that even the slow learners are able to fare averagely in the exam. So because of formative assessments, since they are taken periodically, since they are taken regularly, the teacher is in a position to get a regular feedback from the student. Okay? So she is able to get to know from the students how well she has taught and how well they have understood. It lets the teacher, it lets the students to know what kind of a material should be used while teaching, what kind of a technique should be used for grading the student. So as I told you, formative assessment is ongoing. Okay? It is something which is done time to time by the teacher herself. And since the teacher is involved in assessing the students, therefore it is an internal method of evaluation. There is no external authority which is a part of it, but the teacher herself is going to assess it. It allows a teacher to understand the children better and to modify her teaching practices so as to get the better and desired result. Then comes the summative. Summative, as the name suggests, is the sum of something, the total, the cumulative assessment which is done at the end of the year or at the end of the semester to see how well the students or the trainees have learned, what all they have imbibed in themselves from the instructions that have been given to them over the period of time. It is not done regularly. It is not an ongoing process. It is a method where the students are taught for the first 6 months. So the teacher is just teaching. By the end of the 6 months, she is going to take an exam to judge how well the children have learned in the first 6 months. This kind of an approach is also used, is also said to summarize what the students have learned by the end of the instructions that the teacher was to deliver to the students as mentioned. Okay? So, the reason or the major focus of the summative assessment is to get the result. It is not going to aim at improving the children, but to get the result. It is dependent, it is going to just look at how well you have scored. Your marks are going to be measured. Therefore, the summative assessment is also known as an external evaluation. It is not internal, it is not ongoing, it is not going to focus upon your strengths and weaknesses. Rather, the final verdict, that is your total marks that you have. This approach is used to check whether the students have achieved what the teacher wanted to teach them during the entire program. If I am teaching, class 11 students English, let's say, or education, I keep on teaching you for the whole year without assessing you in the middle. And then by the end of the year, I'm going to take one final exam to see what all you have learned during the year. Okay? So we, being the teachers, are going to assess on what you have done in these exams, compare you with respect to your previous results. So your 10th results are going to be compared with the 11th results, and this yearly performance is going to tell you whether you have improved or you have not improved. So basically the formative and the summative approach is totally different. Formative approach focuses on assessing the students on the basis of how qualitatively they are learning, on the different aspects of their personality, while summative approach is going to evaluate you on the basis of your marks. It is a quantitative method. Formative is continuous, it is ongoing, while summative is something that takes place at the end of the instructions, when the instructions are over. Summative assessment is formal in nature, since it is external evaluation. Therefore, it is going to involve quiz or written test, while formative evaluation is done on the basis of different tasks, activities, homework, projects which are given. Formative approach aims at bringing upon an improvement in what the child has learned and should learn. Okay? While the summative evaluation aims at bringing out how much the child has learned throughout the year without any intention to improve. They just want to see the final result. Now, according to the new national policy on Indian education, reducing the level of stress that the children are accustomed to is very important. And it also emphasizes on the fact that the student needs to perform better in the exam. It wants the students to develop better problem solving skills, better understanding levels. Rather than just appearing for the test, they want the children to develop intellectually as well. So there are different, methodologies which are now being adopted so as to teach the students. The reason why there has been this transformation is because there are different types of students. The learning abilities of the students are different. There may be some who are very quick to grasp something, while there may be others who take time to understand. Therefore, when the learning style of the students are different, the teaching methods and the mode of assessment needs to be different as well. Therefore, the new national policy of education emphasizes on testing the students orally, testing the students on the basis of some group work, some peer testing, so that they can learn about the different aspects of the learner's personality. So now the focus has shifted from just rote memorizing so as to get better marks to becoming competent, to getting better, cognitive skills, to getting better problem solving skills, becoming logically improved, being a better orator, being a better writer. Alright? Now, the question paper also is set in such a manner that different levels of the students are always kept in mind. Right? Not only the students are to be given the questions on the basis of how much they have learned from the book, but what all knowledge they have gained throughout the year, what all extra information, what all inquisitive answers they have received from the other end, they are going to be judged because and with the help of the latest system of